Yo, so guys, but I'm fired here back from the video, and today we're going to be hopping into Henry's offensive scheme that he ran during the Madden 24 Ultimate Kickoff. Now, if you didn't catch yesterday's video, go ahead and check that out. It's a very good watch, and it goes over one of the defenses that he ran. Not obviously every defense that he ran, because he ran some dollar in those last two games, but mainly that defense that he ran against W that was really, really good against Bunch. Make sure you check that out. But now we're going to be going over his offense, which I mentioned that I was going to be dropping. A lot of you guys wanted to see that, so we got it here. Written version, once again, will be down below, available for purchase. Not as expensive as the ebooks because obviously it's less content, but these things still do take me a while to make because I'm watching all of these games, putting together every single setup while I'm doing it in the on my console as well. So that's just the reason there. So moving on, we are in the Philadelphia Eagles offensive playbook. So Philadelphia Eagles playbook is one of the best ones this year. Just a ton of good formations overall. You have things like tight wide off weak. We have bunch offset, bunch strong nasty, which these are going to be the two formations we're running for today's scheme. And then you have some other good stuff. We'll also maybe talk about like the wing slot that he ran because that was a good run. But overall, Henry ran the ball a lot out of this. So running the ball is going to be a concept that we do talk about. Important abilities that we need are going to be some kind of a running back apprentice. Austin Ekeler here, he has backfield master, so we have that. But running back apprentice would work as well. Going into our audibles for bunch offset, we're going to have corner out dig, double post, first halfback under, and read option. For the bunch strong nasty, we're going to have mesh, flat spot, RPO, read bubble, wide trail, and PA bunch shot. So we're going to start out with the bunch offset, and there's actually only two plays that he really ran out of this passing wise. We will go over the read options. He ran that a lot as well. But those were going to be the double post and the verts halfback under. So starting out with the double post now, first things first is Henry runs the bunch from the short side a lot. Now again, we're using the Chargers, but Eagles offensive playbook. Henry runs his bunch from the short side a lot. Now, this concept can work. It can open up more space for things like post routes, crossing routes. Corner routes can run differently on them. So that's not something that I do a whole lot, but you could definitely do it. And you can obviously switch before. Now, I didn't write down which side every play was because it changes. So I didn't do that. But our first setup is going to be just a very simple play here. And you're just going to drag that slot wide receiver. Now, in doing this, you're just creating a couple of opportunities here. First things first is a high-low read between just this drag and this backside post with Joshua Palmer here. So that's going to be kind of your first option. Second option is going to be either the running back or this route with Keenan Allen. This play would kill man coverage really well. You have this backside C route that can get open and some other setups that we will run a little bit later. But overall, this is just a good setup. And also, what's it going to be? It's going to be pretty quick snap based because you only have to do one adjustment. So you do also have the option to catch someone mid-adjustment. Maybe their defense isn't set up completely, and that would be kind of an ideal situation. So again, you're just dragging him. So you have that over there. This backside post should be in a good spot to complete, especially on that short side. You should have a little bit more room to work. Obviously, it would work from either hash mark in this case. But you kind of fit in this window in between those two zones. Again, man coverage. This route should be very good against that as well. But that's going to be our first setup. So moving into setup number 2, what we're going to do here is we're going to wheel Y, streak RB, and then we're just going to block the tight end. So this is going to create a couple of different route combinations. It's going to open up the post a lot more. And then over here on the left, pretty much what it's going to do is open up this little combination that's going to be really good against something like a cover 3 or potentially a cover 2. So over here on this left side, take a look at the way Mike Williams gets open against cover 3. It's going to be absolutely money. Obviously, that route is going to get open against cover 2 as well. So having those two routes is going to, certainly help out the ball club. Blocking the tight end in case he's setting pressure, especially out of that nickel blitz. 0 that we posted yesterday. He's running that. And then obviously you have the potential to hit Ekeler. Now, out of this particular play versus this defense, a lot of these route bumps happen. So it doesn't work the best in this case. You can also run this play from the short or the wide side of the field. But mainly you're trying to hit your boy Mike Williams here. Even with him getting bumped like a million times, There's a ton of separation over there. Again, he is a route that I feel a little bit less confident throwing against man coverage just because he's so kind of flat to where if you bullet it, someone can easily click on and probably pick it off. So that's something I'll typically stay away from. Now, over here on this right-hand side, you have your post to street combination. This, once again, is going to open up Joshua Palmer and actually almost open him up to be able to be in a rack situation, almost take this to the crib. So that's going to be definitely nice there. I'll show it one more time. You have this, and again, with Eckler, you can kind of hit him in that seam, but it really actually opens up Palmer in that window. But really, you're trying to hit that C route because no one's going to ever be able to use that C route. They're going to be focused on the post and the streak and some other things. So that setup is generally intended to open up your C route. But for our last setup, it's going to be a little bit similar, but all you're going to do is just wheel the running back. So you're going to keep Keenan Allen on his route in this case, and he is a route that you can hit in this kind of window as well. Now, this is, again, one of those quick snap setups that you're catching someone off guard. This would be good against man coverage. Again, just wheel him. Now, the spacing between B and RB is not the greatest. It would be something that's pretty easy to lurk, so you do have to be careful. But against man coverage, it should be pretty good. And then again, what you still have is you still have this flat with a tight end, and I like this flat a lot because he's a wheel route almost, so he's cutting up field, and he should be getting you guys some really good animations if you hit him over there. You could pretty much hit him on every single play. He's in that route. And then again, you still have your wheel on this left side, and X over here. We get a bad throw, but that's just because we were under pressure. Again, when you're sending out 5 routes, be careful. Try to get the ball out as quickly as you can. Moving on, we have Verts halfback under, which was going to be the other play that we mentioned. And with this play, our first setup is going to be block the running back and drag X. Now, this setup is not as good against man coverage. I would definitely probably stay away from it because the drag, it's kind of a hit or miss if it's going to be jammed man-man coverage depending on the receiver in the corner. Who are they? Who's better? But then you have Keenan Allen's over route. But this is just, again, another quick snap type play. You can hit this seam route to Everett very confidently, very quickly. Joshua Palmer, you have over there on that right-hand side. What you can do with him is you can also kind of quick snap throw it to him, like right there. I probably threw it even a little bit late there, but that's a concept that you can go to. And then if you're just kind of waiting, which is probably going to be the case, none of those are open. He uses that tight end, and then maybe he goes over here. You're just deciding between RB and X who's going to be open. Now with RB, you want to throw that a little bit earlier than I did right there, but even then, with bad timing, we still have enough space to actually complete that pass, so that's definitely nice. And then again, with Mike Williams, you can also have him as a potential rollout, but a lot of space opens up here, so generally he's going to be using deep. It's going to be difficult for him to come down and defend a drag. He's generally, in most cases that I've ever seen, using Keenan Allen's route, because Keenan Allen's route, you see how the zone comes down against a drag. That's why he can get over the top. So, and obviously if one of those is his user, it just makes one of them that much more open. So that's going to be your first setup. Hopping into setup number 2 out of this play, it's going to be just another kind of quick snap, simple setup. Option this guy. Obviously with this guy, you can move him in, move him out. So that's going to give you a couple options. Getting the ball to the running back in space is a very effective concept this year. I think you guys would understand why. It has to do with the right stick and doing some things like juking, because you can just make so many people miss very easily. Also, he sits in a really good spot. It's kind of a route that's slept on. If he is manned up, what he will do is end up running like an out route or an in route, generally, or he'll run an out route if he's manned up, which should also get open. But I would probably only run this play against zone. You still have your other reads over here with your tight end. If it's press man-to-man coverage, one guy that can get open is Mike Williams over there on the left. Don't sleep on that. But let's say he has his users on the inside. You can also kind of playmaker him outside. Again, the way to playmaker is just that right stick to either direction, and that's where he will go. But decent little setup there. Hopping into setup number 3, what we're going to do here is mix it up with the angle route. So you'll see a little bit of stuff of the angle route. We're going to angle route Eckler here. And this is going to be more man coverage based. You have these routes in the middle of the field. Again, zone, it's an effective concept as well. It's not going to be the best, but this is another kind of quick snap setup. Obviously, again, he's going to have to use A a ton of times, or he's going to have to sacrifice one of those players manning up on A, which is going to open up a couple of other things. And again, some other plays. So we have Y, we have A. Once again, we have RB. Now it's a tighter throw. again, typically one of those will be the user, and if it's man coverage, he'll do a decent job against that as well. But really, you're just kind of snapping the ball early, opening things up. And down the sideline, RB would probably be a little bit better throw late rather than early. Anyways, our next setup for this play and last setup out of this bunch, offset, which again, he didn't roll in a whole lot. We'll go over some of the read options though. It's going to be to angle Y, block A, and curl B. So this was more of a spacing concept. I think it really has to depend on the coverage you're facing. Against this stock cover 3, it's not going to work great because the hook curl will just defend this curl. Obviously, I would hope it would. It's kind of its job. But it leaves you with the same kind of spacing concept. It will open up Keenan Allen over the top. But again, really what you're trying to get is the user. You want his focus to be on Austin Eckler. So in a normal situation, the user's going to follow Austin Eckler. And this is the situation that actually happened in the game. I do remember he's going to follow Austin Eckler. And then Josh Palmer should really be sitting here open. So kind of right there, pretend that left linebacker just uses the angle route. Let's say that right linebacker's manned up on the tight end because the tight end is killing him on the wheel route. That's a hypothetical that you could see if he's running zone. If he's running man, the curls are also pretty decent. So you're throwing Keenan Allen more as a late pass, and then you have the angle and the curl. He's going to really have to pick one or the other with his user, kind of the same situation. So solid play there. But let's talk about the read option because it was a key part of the offense, and it's going to be very effective if your tight end can actually do something called blocking. It's going to be an effective concept. Now, even regardless, it's going to be good. Now, typically with this read option, I do like to run the ball to the wide side of the field. It's going to give you more space. It's going to give you probably better blocks and just overall a better experience. Now, you see right there, just way better blocks, even with mid stick work. We get a good amount of yards. Now, the thing with the read option is you really rarely will keep it. And I know this D end is chasing me after every single play. Would I keep it? Maybe, but in a comp setting, typically no. It's just a little bit risky. Now, sheds and things like this do happen, but this run is going to be very good because what formations are people going to have to try and run to stop your bunch? It's going to be dollar. It's going to be nickel 3-3. So you will see those and you'll be able to run on them. And once you start running on them, that's going to kind of take them out of their initial game plan. So what I would say is just run until you can no longer do it. You saw it with Henry in the tournament. Did he have an ego and want to throw? I'm sure he did want to throw, but did he? He did not. So you run until you're really forced to throw. It's a very good running game, especially if you have good players. So you can do things like juke back. Now, again, even with all these bad runs, we're never losing yards. And generally, we're always picking up like 3 yards. Now, Grady Jarrett is shedding me on every single play, by the way, but let's just double team him, prevent that from happening. And again, it's pretty solid. This nickel defense is decent against it, but you can do certain things like maybe you motion over him, get some movement over there, and then you still run the ball. And you saw how we had a little bit of lane, maybe some user error, and that could be a long run. So you guys most of you probably watched the tournament, so you kind of saw how good these runs are, although maybe I'm not doing the best job at explaining. But let's hop into our next formation, which is going to be the bunch strong nasty, which is a newer formation, I believe, just from this year, and it's going to be something nasty. Now, typically what happens is you're going to come out and bunch offset every play, whether you're running inside zone, whether you're running this formation, whether you're running bunch strong nasty, you're going to come out in the same formation, and it's just going to make it more difficult on the defense because he's not going to know preemptively what you're doing, and he's going to have to kind of audible and make his adjustments on the spot. First play we're going to talk about is going to be wide trail. A couple of decent setups out of this play, although he did get lurked on this play, I think against Dubby with this wheel route. Spacing wise on the short side, it may not be the greatest as well, but what you're going to do is wheel Y, flat B, and drag R1 right here. So you can see just a ton of good spacing concepts over here. Now, one guy you have is Mike Williams. Now, the way that this cover 3 is kind of structured, this route really doesn't get too open. And the main reason why is because this the strong safety is the middle third. So You could also smart out him, get him a little bit shorter. I would be fine with that, especially if that guy's playing him like he kind of is in this case. Or you could throw him a little bit later and kind of complete it in that window. Again, it looks tighter. It probably would be better maybe from the other hash, but the user usually doesn't know that. And again, if it's man coverage, he kills man coverage. So having him out there is certainly something you want to keep. Don't change him for something. We will do that in some of the other plays, but let's talk about the wheel route over here. It's going to be pretty solid. Generally, you want an aggressive catch because it is a tight throw. He runs it just very quickly. So it's almost something you want to kind of snap throw. Now, I might just switch out of this so I don't have to switch formations every single time, but you almost want to throw it like right here, maybe a second later. That gets deflected. Who deflected that? But kind of a second later, maybe you see the flat's wide open, throw it to the flat. So once again, I'll reiterate that you do want to audible to that. I'm not going to do it for time's sake because it's just annoying and a waste of time to do that every single play in a non-competitive setting. But then you have the drag, which of course you can hit late. It's going to be kind of your bailout. You're under pressure. You're going to hit the drag. Again, you as a user, you don't really want to defend the drag. He's going to be probably going wheel to post, if I had to guess, just kind of root with his user. So that's going to kind of leave your angle route. Now your angle route against zone isn't going to do a whole lot. You see there's nowhere to go. And I forgot to drag him, but you see how the flat gets wide open. So you can hit that. So that's your first setup. Your second setup is going to be just something different. You're facing pressure, block the running back. Now the thing I like about this formation is that you can block this tight end as well. Now that wasn't really taken advantage of, but it certainly is something that you could do. It's taken advantage of in PA bunch shot. Now, once again, just block your running back, put RB on a flat. This is the setup. Pretty simple, pretty basic. Again, you're just kind of stressing the drag to post combination, which you can hit here. Now, you can kind of undercut that safety if you're able to click on. That takes practice, so some of you probably will be able to do that. Some of you may not. But again, that's a practice concept. This is something that you can snap pretty quickly. You can hit A actually a lot better in this particular play because the flat pulls out that hook curl over to the right. Again, this is all dependent on what he's running, what he's usering, who he's usering, and what yellow zones he's leaving out there. It's all subjective. But again, this is a quick snap play because you can just block your running back, flat that receiver, and then you're good to go. Again, a lot of space over here. Even with no other routes on the left side, you'll take 5 yards and you'll take an opportunity to maybe juke it out. Again, maybe that yellow zone's not there. You have an opportunity to make someone miss. You're going to want to take advantage of that opportunity. So again, obviously, if you can, you want to hit him. Smart out him. He's probably a little bit shorter. If it's a 1st and 10, definitely probably want to do that. So that's going to be wide trail. Let's move into our next play, mesh flat spot. Now with this play, we have a lot of good setups, 4 in total. And this is going to be where we bring out some of the corner outs, some of these beaters that you saw him run for touchdowns. Now, again, probably going to be better against like cover 0. Personnel wise, we don't have the greatest fast guys. Palmer's pretty decently quick, but I think they disrespect him in this game. But streak RB, put X on an out route, and angle Y. Here's your setup. A is basically running a drag. Against cover 3, you will see Joshua Palmer is going to get pretty open over here. You notice how the curl flat almost respects that angle route, and it's going to be almost key because he would probably continue to go over there, but he doesn't. So again, out X, angle Y, streak RB. We're going to throw the corner out again here. Right here, timing wise. Now then, probably threw it a little bit late. Again, probably want to pass lead it to the outside actually. And when you're running it on the short side like this, it's going to take a lot of strategy. Now we're getting killed. I didn't think the Chargers O-line was this bad, but I guess I'm wrong. But we'll show some of the other routes regardless. You have X on an out route. That's going to almost just clear it out for A. Now what A does, he kind of stops on that. You can throw him on a drag if you'd like. But late play situation, I actually kind of like having him in that. And that is just the way that the play was run. So again, I'm not switching any of these setups the way that I like them. But Eckler here, he clears a lot of space. He is going to, again, get a lot of attention. If you're able to hit that corner out a lot, the user focus is going to be pretty heavily on that right side. Nobody wants to give up that corner out continuously. It's one of the more frustrating things. And then you have Mike Williams over here. Feel free to throw this check down again. Hit the flats, hit the flats, hit the flats, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. These are going to be concepts that are going to be pretty boring, but they're going to be effective, and they're going to be things that you almost have to do to win football games. So you can hit B again over the top right there. He drops the ball, but I think it's just this formation. Keenan Allen's getting bumped by, I think, stupid D end right there. Nobody runs this formation, but Keenan Allen's getting like bump off press, which puts him in a stupid spot. That's going to be kind of your ideal look. And the corner out should be good against man coverage if you're able to kind of throw it up the field. Keenan Allen can get open on his streak against man as well. But let's hop into setup number 2. We're going to streak RB. We are going to out X, angle Y, and flat A. So here is our setup with this play. I'm in the wrong play. That's pretty great. But again, you're going to flat A, angle Y, out X, streak RB. So a lot of the same. You're changing the tight end route from a kind of a drag to a flat. Spacing wise, he's going to be open in the flat. So that's just another route that you can hit. If you notice him cross-manning the tight end with a safety, maybe a free safety, this is an adjustment that can get it wide open. And it's just something different. Again, mixing something like this can also open up Palmer. You see we get a little bit better spacing there. The play just seems to work a little bit more smoothly than it did. And again, you still have Keenan Allen as a potential suitor there. But it's just going to make things difficult. You have Eckler here. Again, will he be leaving 2 yellows? Very rarely. One of those should be open. He's going to have to use him, or if he's manned up, this play is going to be great as well. So, again, here you have it. And boom, we have Palmer over there. Possession catch, money. So that's setup number 2. Moving into setup number 3 right here. Now, setup number 3, what we're going to do is do a couple of different things. We're going to streak X. We're going to streak RB. I'm in the wrong play. Streak X, streak RB, angle Y, flat A. Then we're going to motion Everett over. This is a play that he ran against man coverage for a beater. So you're going to have 2 streaks. The streaks are going to be very good this year, especially if he's bringing down safeties. Now, when would he bring down safeties? Running the ball. Everything leads to each other. Running the ball is important. Now, against like something like cover 3, it's not going to be great, but you actually have the seam routes. That's going to be pretty good. But again, man coverage, you're going to probably be in situations where you can lob those over the top. So again, streak X, streak RB, flat A, and angle Y. We're going to angle Y in every single one of these setups, so you see why it's important. But concept on the right, it's still going to work. You're still going to be able to hit Palmer. Now, he took a very terrible route on that, but he would have been open if we had a second more of time. Again, with Keenan Allen, he's a tougher throw because the outside third is already on that side, but you could almost still hit him in the seam as well. But again, this is more of a man coverage beater. When you actually motion him over, it opens it up a little bit more, so you can maybe hit this route. But aggressive catch, be careful. Hope that he doesn't have Sean Taylor in there, and hope that you don't fumble. That's setup number 3. Moving into setup number 4, we're going to go ahead, streak X, streak RB, and angle Y. Snap it like this. Good quick snap setup. Again, you have X over here. He played that really well, but you almost have a window to kind of throw that. And again, if it's man coverage, he can beat him. You have Devin Hester. He doesn't get his adjustments off. That could be a situation where he's open. So again, streak these 2 guys, angle the running back. You still have the corner out over there. You still have this guy. Again, you probably want to throw it earlier before he stops, or just throw him on the drag. But decent setup there. I'll show it one more time. Overall, what you're doing here is just opening things up again. Corner route wise, he's going to have to respect this. Now, we're getting shedded to death. Our right tackle sucks just very badly. So that's not great. But yeah, so let's hop into the last play, PA bunt shot. Now with PA bunt shot, it's going to be a pretty solid setup here. Kind of another play he ran for a beater, if I'm not mistaken, but you're going to streak X, flat Y, or flat B, wheel Y, block A. Good man beater. Just a couple of options here. Streaking X. Again, you have this window here. Fire it a little bit earlier than there. You can hit him. Man coverage. He can get open as well. You have this little kind of crosser with Keenan Allen that I like. And then you obviously have your flat over here. So just a simple concept. Now again, those corners play it really good. But if it's man coverage, he can get open deep as well. You almost have to throw it like right here. Now he plays it really well, and that's why I'm not the biggest fan of these wheel routes on the short side. You even saw Henry when he ran it against Dubby, he threw an interception. Things can happen because he just plays it well. But again, it depends on the setup. If you're in doubt, hit the flat. It's almost like the same thing as throwing the wheel route, so probably do that. Less risk, although probably a little bit less reward with the ball being in his hands. It's still going to work, but that's pretty much going to wrap up the video for you guys. Again, written version will be in the description and pinned in the comments section. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel down below. Let me know if you want any other pro schemes. Again, 4-6 defense should be dropping pretty soon as well. And peace, I'm out of here.